Welcome back to This Explainer. Today, we're heading way up into the mystical Himalayas of northern India. We're diving into a region where ancient folklore isn't just, trapped in dusty history books. It breathes, it pulses through daily life, and the veil between the human world and the divine is incredibly thin. Which brings us to a wildly provocative question. How exactly do you awaken a dormant god? I mean, in a lot of cultures, gods are treated as these distant, untouchable observers. But here, they're active entities. They're literally roused from their slumber to solve local disputes and heal the sick. But to understand how to wake them up, we first need to figure out where they sleep.
Section 1. Devbhoomi, Abode of Gods.
Devbhoomi literally translates to the abode of gods, and it perfectly captures this spiritually charged landscape of Uttarakhand. It's a place defined by absolute extremes. We're talking massive snow-capped peaks, deep plunging valleys, and these dense ancient forests. Because life here has historically been so incredibly harsh and perilous, the local Pahadi culture developed a spiritual ecosystem that relies on localized deities just to navigate the brutal forces of nature. And when we say abode, we mean that literally. Scattered across these staggering Himalayan heights are exactly 33 highly popular Shiva temples. These aren't just pretty architectural marvels sitting empty. They are vital, active spiritual anchors. From shrines perched at over 3,500 meters high to ancient caves, they physically map out a terrain where supreme deities actually dwell. Now, what's really fascinating is how local folklore brings ancient Vedic verses right down to earth. Take the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, which is all about seeking relief from the fear of death. While major traditional scriptures might view a god like Shiva as this ultimate, distant destroyer of the universe, local folklore frames the divine much more intimately. It's almost like having a relatable protector you can call on for your everyday problems.
Section 2. Jagar Awakening the Spirits.
So how do these communities actually reach out to their protectors? Well, picture this. It's the middle of the night. The mountain air is freezing, and you can smell the sharp smoke of a sacred Duni fire. This is Jagar, derived from a word literally meaning to awaken. It's a powerful shamanic ceremony driven by the belief that unresolved ancestral issues cause real-world bad luck. You aren't just sitting and praying quietly. You are actively waking the gods up to demand justice and healing.
But here's the kicker. This is not some solo meditation. It's a highly structured, intense community effort built entirely around 3 key roles. First, you have the Sinkar, the sponsor who actually needs the help. Then there's the Jagariya, the master singer who directs the whole spiritual show. And finally, the Dengariya, this incredibly sensitive medium whose body literally becomes the physical vessel for the awakened god to speak through.
Getting the Dengariya into that possessed trance requires absolute sensory overload. I mean, imagine the deep, booming bass of a massive double-headed doldrum colliding with the sharp, erratic clanging of brass thali plates as the tempo just relentlessly builds and builds. These aren't just musical instruments. They're precise spiritual tools engineered to drive the human mind into an altered state of consciousness. The ritual itself follows a very specific emotional arc. It kicks off with the invocation, calling upon the gods with atmospheric evening songs. Then, the music explodes into the possession phase. The medium starts trembling, and the deity actually speaks through them right there in the room to solve the community's problems. And finally, it smoothly de-escalates with concluding rites, where sacred ash is applied and the spirit is respectfully sent back home. Section 3. The Legend of Nauling Devta. To really wrap our heads around the gravity of a Jagar, we need to look at a living, breathing local legend. Deep down in the Bajreshwar district, hidden away in a small village called Sangha, lies the domain of Nauling Devta. He's a highly localized deity, specifically revered in this pocket of the world as a fierce protector of crops and animals. According to the lore, Nauling Devta originally arrived in this area only to find the village completely terrorized by Sangaria Masan. This was a horrific, bloodthirsty demon that demanded constant human and animal sacrifices. Captivated by the natural beauty of Sangad, Nauling Devta decided, no way, he couldn't let this stand. He stepped up to protect the locals. And this was no easy fight. It was an absolute grind. The legend says the combat was so incredibly fierce that Nauling Devta actually had to hide inside a tree for 7 straight days and nights just to survive the demon's onslaught.
It was only on the 8th day, by invoking the ultimate supreme power of the goddess Ma Kali, that he finally gained the strength to slay the beast.
Now, here is why this matters today. This isn't just some ancient bedtime story. The physical evidence of this myth actually dictates village geography and strict social boundaries in Sangangad right now. The defeated demon's body was thrown into a pond right at the temple site, known today as Rakshas Tal. Because of the dark, lingering energy of that demon, strict social rules still apply, like the absolute prohibition of women entering that specific body of water. The myth is quite literally carved into the landscape. And that raw energy from that ancient battle is continually reawakened. Every single year during the Navami Mela, the whole village just lights up. Devotees travel from all the surrounding districts, spending the entire night at the temple honoring the deity's victory. It is a massive, vibrant reminder that these regional identities are kept entirely alive through communal celebration. Section 4. Modernizing Mountain Myths.
So you might be wondering, how does a culture based on purely oral nighttime rituals survive the harsh daylight of the 21st century? Well, we're seeing a massive shift towards preservation. For centuries, these stories only lived in the memories of the bards, but today, academic journals like Navajoti are diligently transcribing these regional dialects, actively transforming fleeting songs into concrete, permanent literature before they fade away forever. It's a wild contrast when you think about it. The essence of the Jagar hasn't died at all, it's just adapted. The deep, hypnotic Dahol beats that once only echoed around a midnight village fire are now being mixed in modern recording studios and streamed on digital albums. It allows the diaspora to instantly connect with their roots no matter where they are in the world.
And we have some absolute pioneers to thank for this survival. People like Pritam Bardwan, who established entire academies to teach the youth. Or trailblazers like Basanti Bisht, who shattered centuries of strict tradition to become the very first female jogger performer, taking these sacred songs all the way to All India Radio. Their relentless work has even been recognized with some of India's highest civilian honors. Actually, scratch that. It goes way beyond just the academics and famous musicians. Instead of being completely erased by globalization, the youth of Uttarakhand are straight up leveraging digital algorithms to awaken global curiosity. Young influencers are going viral, sharing beautiful, ancient customs, like Pool Day, the spring festival where kids share flowers and jaggery. They're making sure their heritage thrives online. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. We've seen how a community literally wakes up its past to heal its present. So ask yourself, what myths or oral traditions from your own ancestry might be quietly fading away in the dark? And more importantly, how will you awaken them? Think about it. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.